Hey everyone, my name is Wes, and welcome back to another episode of Terror Talk where I discuss creepy clips online. I created this original horror music to add to the video, and I hope you enjoy it. Be sure to leave your own comments, and when you're done watching, check the description if you'd like to listen to my music without the commentary. Now let's get into it and have some fun.
Earlier this spring, I was camping in the woods 4 hours north of where I live. There was a small lake that I'd go to a lot. It was never crowded or even really known about, I don't think, so it made for a nice peaceful getaway every time I went.
Do you ever go on peaceful getaways here and there? I think it's really important. Let me know in the comments below if you ever do a peaceful getaway for yourself.
When I got there on the first day and set everything up, nobody else was there. The lake wasn't too big and was surrounded by a grassy beach with the woods around it, so I could see pretty much all around the lake. Not too long after I arrived, I saw a man come out of the woods on the other side and set up a tent. He looked like an average camper and was keeping to himself for the first little while. Before sundown, though, I saw him making his way around the lake and over toward my campsite. He had a friendly smile and introduced himself as William. He said he wasn't sure if I saw him set up camp or not, but he saw me across.
Wouldn't it be annoying if you're just trying to enjoy a peaceful weekend yourself and some random a-hole comes along and bothers you like that? I feel like I would be pretty annoyed. Would you be pretty annoyed? Because God, it's just like, leave me alone.
The lake and just wanted to say hi since we were both out in the middle of nowhere at a lake that nobody usually comes to. We talked for a while and he was really cool actually. William was 26, which was around the same age as me, and we both liked this camping spot because of how secluded it was. After talking for 30 minutes, he went back to the other side of the lake as the sun was coming down. Not much else happened that night, but in the morning, we ended up talking and hanging out for most of the day. He shared a 6-pack of beers with me, and we sat on the beach and had some good casual conversations. When we went back to our tents at the end of the day, I was sitting by my small campfire and was really happy I'd met William. He seemed like the perfect buddy to go camping with, maybe some other time. As it got later though, I started getting ready to stomp out the fire and go to bed.
It almost sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Some random person shows up in a very secluded area, and all of a sudden, you guys are best friends. I don't think that happens. Maybe I'm wrong. But it doesn't seem like that happens too terribly often. And obviously this is a horror story, so I guess we'll just have to see what happens next. Because there's something gonna go down, and I feel like it's a little off, isn't it?
When I saw William walking around the lake. His campfire had gone out a while ago, so I thought he was in his tent already sleeping. But apparently not. He walked up to my campfire, and right away, something was different about him. "Hey, everything good, man?" I said. He smiled and was suddenly back to how he was before, but he said he came over to ask if I wanted to see a cool spot he found that had a great view. I said it was kind of late to be going out, but he assured me that the view was great because it was dark out. The way he was hyping it up made me feel like I couldn't not see it.
Oh man, this is already like a little creepy, isn't it? This guy wants to take him to someplace off in the woods late at night. Like, how is this guy not getting red flags?
And what would be the point in camping out in the woods if I just passed up the good views? I got up and followed him to the other side of the lake, then trailed behind him as he led us through the woods. There was no path or anything, so I pretty quickly knew that whatever spot this was William had to have been there many times before to know the exact way without getting lost, especially out in the dark. We walked for maybe 15 minutes before William started slowing down. He pointed ahead and smiled like this was the view, but when I walked in front of him and looked out, there was a small structure. It was an old RV or camper that looked like it had been abandoned and succumbed to the elements for years. Moss grew all over it, and holes of rust covered the siding. I turned back to look at William, wondering what this was, but his face was now cold and empty. He looked like he was a different person. "William, what is this?" He didn't answer.
How creepy is this? Leading him to an old RV, completely run down in the middle of the woods, no path. I'm sorry, but this guy is an idiot.
Feeling a rush of fear, I started frantically looking around, and that's when I heard the rusty metal door swing open behind me. I only saw for a quick second as someone else came running out before I started sprinting away. I could hear both William and the other person following close behind, but I gave my every strength to keep going until I lost them. By then, I'd run so far into the woods that I had no idea where I was. I just kept walking and keeping my eyes on the trees until the sun came up. By the time I found my way back to the lake, I saw from the tree line that all of my camping gear was gone. It looked as if I was never even there. I stayed hidden and got back on the trail, making it back to my car. I made a report with the local police, but they never mentioned finding anything. I don't think they even really looked, to be honest. What was planned for me that night is horrifying to think about, but at least I got out before having to witness it firsthand.
Yeah, so I think that he was definitely stupid to follow this guy out into the middle of the woods like that, and that should have been a red flag right there. The second red flag should have been there was no path. I mean, who leads someone out into the middle of the woods with no path in the middle of the night? Like, that's just pretty strange. And I think that he got lucky to get out of the woods because he could have easily gotten lost in there and never found his way out. I mean, that does happen, I feel like, to quite a few people out there who are hiking in the woods and get lost and they never find their way out. And I honestly think that would be one of the most terrifying things in the world, is to get lost in the woods and not be able to find your way out. That's why, in a way, like, that's one of the reasons why I'm not an outdoorsy type person. Like, I love nature, but I'm really not into hiking and camping all that much. Like, if it's a 20-minute hike, yeah, I'll go on that, but I'm not going to go on like a 2-day, 3-day hike. I mean, come on. But yeah, people get lost in the woods all the time and I feel like never make their way out, and I feel like that would be one of the most terrifying experiences ever. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. But overall, I thought this was a good story, and I hope you enjoyed my commentary and my music, and I will see you in the next video.